Now listen up, parents, because I'm serious about what I'm going to say next. Many parents in our great nation are failing their own children. I am talking about refusing or failing to step up and be responsible for and to the commitment that parenting takes. Parenting is not about convenience. Sometimes it's not fun, can be tough, can be tiring, confusing, and even sometimes hurts. You cannot be selfish, entitled, or constantly put yourself first and be a good parent. Parents do need to meet their own needs, but too many parents in America are putting their wants before the needs of their own children, and that needs to stop right now. Many American parents are leaving their children unsupervised while they partake of pleasure activities. These activities could be shopping, going out with friends, and a whole array of activities that are wants as opposed to needs. I am not talking about the parent who uses the services of a qualified babysitter while they take a much-needed break. I'm talking about parents who are so selfish and self-involved that they would either not recognize that I'm talking about them right now or would be feeling uncomfortable and defensive right now. The role of parent takes involvement and commitment. It means you need to be present both physically and mentally for your children. You may be a parent, but you are not parenting your children when you leave them at home to raise themselves. In many communities, this is an ignored crime, but it should be a crime that is taken seriously. A few years ago, I was taken aback by a social studies lesson one of my daughters had about the benefits of electricity. In the lesson, it showed that before electricity, families gathered in one room by candlelight or by the fireplace to do chores, to read together, play games, and spend time together. Then the lesson showed their version of a modern family. And thanks to electricity, the dad was in one room listening to the radio and reading the newspaper. The mom was in another room using tools and supplies to scrapbook. The daughter was in another room chatting on her cell phone, and the son was in yet another room playing video games and watching television. This family was separated and disconnected. I'm proud to say that this lesson and the images it portrayed did not reflect my family. We spend most of our time together. I do not think that it is a benefit of electricity that a family spends no time together and becomes fractured. Families need to spend time together. You may be wanting to shop or enjoy some other activity free of your kids, but for most families, raising kids is a small period of time in your life, and when your kids are grown, you will have time for other things. Make time for your kids in your life while your kids are still kids. Something that I find very puzzling is that parents often complain about how hard parenting is, much harder than they could have ever imagined. These same people have sought out a great deal of education for their jobs they perform for an income, but they have never sought out parenting education. In talking, these parents do indicate that parenting is much more important to them than their jobs, and that the outcome is much more important, but they feel they shouldn't have to gain education on how to be a parent. For many, it was because they feel that for generations, or since the beginning of mankind, parents have been raising children without a formal education in doing so. They seem to feel if they seek out parenting education, they feel foolish or less capable than their parents and grandparents. What these parents don't understand or acknowledge is that previous generations of parents had their parents and their communities to rely on. They had support and help in raising their kids, much more support than most parents have these days. Parents of the past also didn't have the standards of parenting that are now part of the American culture. Parents in the past were parenting out of survival and reaction, and they could use discipline techniques that are controversial or questionable or even illegal now. Parents in the past didn't have other complications of parenting that today's American parent has contended with, such as computers, the internet, cell phones, and other technologies that make modern life more complicated and move faster. Now more than ever before, parents have to enforce boundaries, define values, and instill priorities for the benefit of their children, which is why it is important for American parents to be confident in their roles as parent and gain parenting education to build that confidence. America and the parents of America have some hefty issues on their shoulders at this time. We have many issues to resolve and many courses to correct because we are at a crossroads to our future. The decisions we make right now are paramount in importance and will determine our future or demise as a nation. We can no longer be passive in our stance, and as parents, we have more at stake than other citizens of this country. Many corrections need to take place in our public school system, and American parents need to stand up and consistently strive for the appropriate changes to be made. We should not allow our children to be surrounded by weapons, which violates their sense of security by creating an atmosphere of fear. We need for the educational standards to be national standards so we know where our children stand in regards to intellectual growth compared to their peers across the nation. We need appropriate boundaries so that the schools know and understand that they are employed by us to provide educational services, and we as parents expect to be pleased. We are also not here to please them or service them, and we can no longer tolerate the lacking willingness to serve that the school systems exhibit while also spending uncontrollably. We as parents need to illuminate the value of success in the eyes of our children. We need to limit or eliminate showcasing of criminals so that our children do not start to idolize negative notoriety. We also need to teach our children how to be independent, for that is our complete job description, to teach our children to be independent. We need to teach our children to be self-reliant and to be critical thinkers. We as American parents need to seek help when needed, including mental health services. We need to teach our children integrity over image and safety over fear and retaliation. We need to teach our children well and let them lead us into the future. The role of parent is an ominous task, vital and more important than anything else we will ever do. Raising a child into an emotionally healthy, independent, and successful adult is an achievement overshadowed by no other. Therefore, the magnitude of importance the role of parenting education plays for American parents is vast, and the effect is voluminous. Every parent needs to be confident in their parenting choices and decisions. Please seek out parenting education. Every American parent deserves that support. It will help you raise the great leaders of tomorrow we need. Our nation has so much wealth of opportunity. We can go the right direction. We need strength and courage. The knowledge parenting education will provide you will give you that strength and courage. I look forward to getting to know the great leaders of tomorrow you are raising today, and I will watch for them with an admiring eye. Thank you.